We are going to talk about Snubs right now. And I got to throw this right off the top. Smash Bros did not make the list. Guys, why didn't you pick Smash Bros?
I've never actually played that Smash Brothers.
Oh, really?
I know, and again, yeah, I know you guys. I'm fired already. I'm already first and last time on the show. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's one of those games that I just was not. I'm not into fighting games really. Huge into Nintendo characters, obviously, but every time it wasn't my turn, I would stare at Super Smash Brothers there on my screen. I'm just like, someone's got to pick that because, and I almost put it on my list just because I'm like, it's just a huge game. I should put it on my list, but I'm like, I never played it.
Yeah. See, I mean, like if you look at all the Smashes, like it's the worst one, but it's still really really fun and I liked it. But I think if I'm looking at, I don't know what games I would really want to see again. Kind of like GoldenEye, I don't specifically know if I'd want to play that again. Yeah. I mean, I would play it because Samus is amazing and Link is really cool, but there's just better versions of those games, and it just hasn't aged all too well. But again, it's not discounting how good it is. I just wouldn't want it there.
I love Smash on the 64. I played so much of that back in the day, and this game is guaranteed to be on the Nintendo 64 Classic and will get played like crazy. And I find it crazy. I guess just the nature of the draft and why I was really excited to do this is that everyone has their own personal opinions, and maybe Smash Brothers just didn't have an impact on us as it would to many other people out there. And so that's why a game like Smash Brothers did not make the cut, shockingly. I think I would have picked that next if we had gone one more round. Actually, no, I wouldn't have picked that next because I would have picked Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark.
Even with GoldenEye on my list, I would pick Perfect Dark even though you're doubling up the gameplay, Perfect Dark is the better game in every way.
I think if we kept, okay, I'm just gonna, I guess my next ones that are on there. So I was really, really, really debating, even from like number 2 onward, if I wanted Wave Race to be on there, because I love Wave Race 64.
It kills me that I didn't pick that.
Yeah, like it's such a good one, but like again, like it's pretty short. Mario Kart's kind of better, so I don't know, but that's a fun game. And then I was also really torn between Jet mentioned it, Mario Party 2, because I mean like I'm assuming the N64 Classic, okay, A comes out and B has 4 controller ports, like that would be a great game to have on there.
Yeah. I think realistically the one they're gonna go with is Mario Party 2. Because
I think it makes sense.
You can't put Mario Party 1 on there and just have people with the destroyed palms.
Yeah.
Man,
that's true.
That is such a crazy story. If anyone doesn't know, I should pull out. Actually, let me pull out a Nintendo 64 controller for this demonstration.
Yeah. I can tell you the story. So if y'all don't know the
oh,
game
no, I dropped the house.
Oh, the house.
And I pulled out my headphones. This is bad. All bad.
If you don't know the game he's talking about, there's one where you need to, you need to spin the control stick like to move a bicycle to light a light, and then if you like if you don't do it fast enough, like a boo will catch you.
All right.
And
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So like the go ahead.
So you're spinning the stick, right? This is not particularly fast, even with the thumb. Not great. Yeah. People realized that if you put your palm on it like this and go like this, you can go very quickly, but then everyone just had this giant blister on their hand. And it became such a problem that Nintendo started packing a glove with the game to protect people from doing it.
One? Yeah.
I did not get a glove. I just got the blisters.
Same. And you know, that glove in collector circles is highly coveted. So if you have one, that glove. I think it was even branded. I think it said like Nintendo. So it was cool.
Oh man. Wow. I've never seen the glove IRL.
Yeah. Same. The Holy Grail.
Other games that did not make the cut. Mario Tennis, that was mentioned.
Yeah.
I once again, another one of those, like, Nintendo nailed it on the Nintendo 64 with the balance of arcade and sim, and then they went a little too far down the deep end.
Yeah.
I am excited to see where Mario Tennis Aces goes, though.
Yeah, me too.
It looks still a little too wacky for me, but then they also have the mode where you can turn all that off, and then it's got the RPG elements, like the Game Boy games that I really like.
Yes. Yeah. Any snubs your way, JJ, that you can think of?
No, because like I said, my list was not very long. I didn't play a ton, so but some of it was just these. I'm surprised. Well, no, Wave Race 64, like you mentioned, because I do remember playing that, and that almost made my list. But yeah, I just think there were better games that have actually held up better than Wave Race 64. I think so.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other snub that was kind of mentioned so far was any of the Turok games. I feel like Turok was great. Turok 2 was amazing. I didn't actually play much of 3 or that Rage Wars one, but I think that those games were really good.
Rage Wars we ran into a game-breaking glitch in that game where if you go down a very specific path, the game just like, you'll play the level, you'll beat the level, but the game will say you failed, and there's nothing you can do to get out of it.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's why that game's not on the list.
Yeah. Some other big snubs. No one has mentioned Diddy Kong Racing at all.
Yeah.
That was.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe to this day, still the most ambitious kart racer of all time. In the
kart racer, hover kart racer, it's everything.
Got the airplanes. You got boss fights in that game. I'm not the biggest fan of Diddy Kong Racing, but I acknowledge all the awesome things it did at the time.
Yeah,
and that
for sure.
Rights are going to be a problem with that one, but that should definitely be on the Nintendo 64 Classic. Is there any other ones? I mentioned
Pokemon Snap.
Yes, Pokemon Snap is another fun one. I don't think that game's particularly great, but people love that game and have a great nostalgia for it.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I feel like if that jumps on an N64 Classic, then Pokemon Snap 2 on the Switch is gonna happen. Calling it today.
Okay.
All right. I just remembered a couple, which I don't think they will make it on a classic, but the first-person shooter trilogies of Quake, Doom, and Hexen. As I was scrolling down that list, I was like, man, these were... Because I remember when they were coming out, I was like, man, these are violent for a Nintendo console, but it was like... The fact that those games made it on a Nintendo console back then at all, I remember being shocked. I think I had Doom, which I should have put that on my list, but yeah, they were just because Nintendo was never really known for having mature video games on their systems for a long time, so that was kind of a big deal, I thought. But
yeah,
my brother, it was actually really weird. We rented Hexen when my brother was like 5 or 6 years old, and he ended up buying that game. Which at the time it was rated M for mature, so he probably should have been playing that game. Yeah, but we really liked that game at the time. I don't know if it holds up now, but
yeah, I don't know if it holds up either.
Yeah. The other ones, 2 more that I can think of off my phone list here. Sin and Punishment, which came out at the very end of the Nintendo 64 in Japan, never made it to North America until it came out on the Wii Virtual Console, and that game is pretty dope. Having played it after the fact, it's this sort of like shooter, kind of like sort of Star Fox 64, except it's a dude running and flying in space, and you're just trying to shoot everything that moves, and the last level is like shooting a giant planet or something. I can't remember what it was exactly, but that game is dope as hell. And the last one I can think of that probably got snubbed is Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah. See, I never played it, so I was like, I never got around to it, and I don't know, Banjo. That's all you got.
Yeah, but come on, man, Great Mighty Pooh and all the coursing.
That's true. No one picked StarCraft 64.
No.
That was on there, wasn't it, man?
Yeah, a random game.
Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. I'm sorry.
Oh,
War Gods. I'm sorry. Clay Fighter 63 and a third. Fighter's Destiny.
Hey, whoa. Let's not say things you can't take back.
Another deep cut. Do you guys remember Battle Tanks?
Yeah, I remember that one.
That game was pretty good.
I think so.
Or Blast Corps. That was a good one.
That's another good one.
Good, yeah.
Oh man, should I put that on there?
Do over.
Yeah, we gotta stop. Yeah.
Okay, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. We will probably do this draft format for something else at some point. Maybe it's a different console or games or just something completely different. One of my favorite podcasts of all time is OneUp.com had this podcast called The Sports Anomaly, and they did the Star Wars draft, where you could draft any person, place, thing, or concept in the Star Wars universe. And with the first pick, the guy who had the first pick Of all the things in the Star Wars universe,
the Force.
He picked Slave Leia.
Of course he did.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my god.
He was 12, right? Was he 12 years old?
Was it?
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.